This is the second episode of Obiettivo Cina Talk, my talk with my colleague Daisy Xu, my partner for channel marketing in Shanghai. Hello, Daisy.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm happy to be back with you again.
Okay, thank you for your participation. The subject of today, we will speak about a question that companies that want to enter to China, so especially companies that have no experience with the market, should ask to themselves before entering China. The question is, are we ready for China? And this is not such an obvious question because I think everybody knows that China is not an easy market, is a market that requires investment in time, in people resources, and also financial investment. So you have to think very carefully about this question. Actually, when I approach a possible customer, when a possible customer approach to me, I use to send him a complete checkup about 27 questions that help the customer and also to myself to answer to this question, are we ready for China? So this checkup cover actually many aspects of the company, because everybody in the company or all the function in the company will be sooner or later involved in the China project. And so it covers questions regarding people, regarding the top management, the people that will be in the market, operationally, regarding the product, the distribution, and so on. One very important thing that I try to verify at the beginning and is if the company has in mind a strategy for China, or at least if they want to approach China with a strategy in mind, because approaching China in an opportunistic way is very risky, very dangerous. So my suggestion is that invest time in think about your strategy. That means which targets, with objective do you want to perceive in China in the medium and long term? Do you have a mission? And do you have a vision for China? These are not only a theoretical thing, but when you will approach Chinese counterparts, that could be customer or banks or distributors, yeah, you need to explain to them and make them believe that you have a strategy. You are not in China just to find opportunities for increasing the sales. So what do you think about this aspect, Daisy?
Yes, so actually it's absolutely common that when a company decides to approach a new market because they want to expect growth on their current business. But there is a gap between the expectation and the reality. And this gap needs to be studied in order to minimize them. So in order to try to bridge your expectation and the reality as close as possible. As you have just talked through it, I believe that actually this checkup is somehow helping the company to know yourself first, because to know yourself is the most essential part. In Chinese, we say for the Sun Tzu, the art of war, know yourself and your enemies, you will never lose a battle. And talking about the strategy or approaching the market with a strategic approach or plans, I believe that most companies, they agree to work out a strategy when entering a new market. But according to what we have experienced with our clients, we found that actually a lack of how is very common. how to build up the strategy. To be more specific is actually how to set your target, how to break down them, and how to prioritize them with those different targets. And what's more, you are trying to utilize very limited resources, because we are talking about most are SMEs.
Yeah.
So I think the checkup that you have mentioned is a good tool to help a company at least to start to know yourself and try to understand how first. That's
You're
my
right. Yeah, actually, the checkup, as you mentioned, is also very useful to me to understand if they are really serious about the project, because only the fact that they invest some time in answering these questions make me think that they have intention to take the right approach to China, and so this gives me a first framework of the situation that is very
first impression.
Yeah, is very important for starting the relationship in the right way. And clearly, this is also a way to check for me what is probably the first most important thing, that is the real commitment of the company, and especially of the owner, because as you said, our target is mainly small, medium enterprises. So the owner or the owners or the top management should be really focused and committed to China and to China project. That means that they should be able to think about investing in China, investing in human resources, investing financially, investing also in time to wait that to have returns from the China project. That is sometimes could be not such a short term. So they have to be patient and not give up the first problems. You know, we have had a couple of examples of companies that they didn't have the patience and the commitment, and after some first approach with the distribution channel that were not that didn't bring any sales, they give up, losing the initial investment, and this is not the right approach. You need to be perseverant in the market, and this for small medium enterprises sometimes is difficult. So what do you think, Daisy, about that?
Yes, and I think we thought in the same way. That's also two of my opinions. So the first one is they confuse the expectation and the real target. Second is, as you just elaborated, is the lack of long-term plan, because they tend to behave more like an opportunist. So for the first one, confuse the expectation and target, I think rather than a mistake, it is more a kind of misalignment of information from top management and the execution team. So as we just said, companies approaching market with expectation of growing business, this is absolutely natural and right. But you cannot simply set your target with your expectation. Very often we hear that China is a very big market. A small piece of the cake is already huge for my company. But target, how to really achieve that? Because target is a scientific study supported by a comprehensive and doable plans. That's my first comment. So, and then talking about the opportunist, you have already spoke a lot. I think in this case, those kinds of companies, they are just trying to grab a quick business, and soon they will fail, and as you said, they wasted what they have already done, because later on they don't want to invest in a long-term plan, and they don't want to even to study or try to understand, or they tend to believe in rumors rather than really spending time for the analysis. So yeah, that's the two let's say common behaviors that we identified during those years of work with different clients.
Yes, another thing that I try to convince companies is that China is a team project. We can help them as an external consultant to coordinate a team. We can help in initial phase of market analysis and looking for partners, distributors, or customers, but then they have to set up a team that could be a small team, but people that are in some way in line with the vision and the mission of the company that I speak before. And also I think is important, especially for small and medium enterprises, that the top management and also the owner of the company is involved and come to China, visit customers, visit distributors, visit partners, because Chinese, I think they want to see also the face of the top management and of the owners to have trust. Is it correct in your opinion?
Yes, I think in most cases they are so, especially when we are talking about the small, medium-sized companies. That is a trust that you put front, and this kind of trust can help to overcome a lot of difficulties, which is not necessary.
Yeah. One last consideration from my side is about, apart from commitment and strategy, the value that the companies can bring to China, because it's not so easy as could have been in the past, that with simply a good product, European or Italian company can be successful. A good product, I think, is a must. This is something that in some sector, in some industry, still European company has a competitive advantage, even if it's decreasing this advantage. So one of the prerequisites is to bring to China high value products, not low range, trying to conquer the low market, but high value product for the high end of the market. A second prerequisite is a brand. Brand is very important in China. If you have an international recognized brand, it is clearly a good advantage, but you have to invest in China to make your brand adapt to the China market and to promote it in the right way with the China media and content for China. And also I think the third thing that could be used by foreign enterprises to gain a competitive advantage in China is in some way their expertise. That means I see that still European company, both from an organizational point of view and also the people skills, tend to be more careful about the different aspects of the business, especially regarding to sales, pre-sales, post-sales. Chinese companies, in my opinion, but I could be wrong, from this point of view, sometimes are less attentive, they don't care so much for the relationship with the customers during the selling process. So this is something that foreign companies could bring as an advantage to Chinese companies. So I see these three things important for a company that wants to succeed in China. These three elements are important to bring to China a value proposition that could be successful. Which is your opinion about that? Which should be a value proposition for foreign companies that want to make business in China?
As you just said, the value proposition is the soul of a brand. Of course, before approaching a new market, it's necessary to review again your own value proposition, because you need to try to understand whether it really fits for this market. Because what is treasured by a customer in your own market probably means very little for a new market, as also you just have mentioned. Talking about this, I always remember a case study that my MBA professor has shared with us, that you need to, when you need to think about made for whom more than made in where. He mentioned a case that Nutella. This is so successful in Italy, but not that much in China. The reason is because we don't use knife to take Nutella on bread like you did, because we eat with chopsticks. So it's not user-friendly for us, this kind of design or this way of eating. So it's not that it's a wrong product, and it's not it is not because that this is so successful in Italy and it should naturally be successful in China. And it's also not about the taste. I think people like the taste. So it is a matter of make for whom. It sounds like a joke, but I think it's true. So second, and about the value proposition, I want to suggest that try to outstand one or two value propositions and focus on that. Because it's always easy for us to do a lot of plus, to add things on, but it's very difficult the opposite. But when approaching a new market, I think it's very necessary to do a lot of minus work, especially also on the value proposition, and try to focus. Of course, these things needs to be done based on the study and analysis of the market. That's my opinion.
Yeah, yes, very interesting, the example of Nutella that explained well how the same product could be used and perceived in such different ways. And this is also valid for B2B companies, even for professional products like machines or components. They use in different way Chinese customers than European customers. And also for the value proposition, yeah, you are right, this is one of the most important thing that the company has to clarify when interacting with different targets. There are many value proposition also for different targets, for end user or for distributors or for OEM, and it's very important that they fit the Chinese culture and the Chinese market. I think that this is a very interesting subject, what you mentioned about the different perception of products. And so our next conversation, I think, could be interesting to deepen this subject. What do you think?
Yes, this can be elaborated a lot. Yeah. Nutella is a product, and also there are also some technical features of a machine or of a tool, which in your own market is perceived very valuable, but yes, in a different market, they are looking for something else.
Yeah, yes. Good, Daisy. So we have found the subject for our next conversation. Okay. I think our time is expired now. So thank you again.
Thank you too.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you next time.
Okay. Thank you to everybody, and see you for the next episode.